Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have begun our final descent into the San Francisco area. At this time, we have...
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you guys are in the world. Today we are here in Santa Cruz, California, and we're meeting up with my old friend and my brother, Jaleel Mackey, and his new family.
Hi.
Guess who it is, guys? It's Jaleel.
Long time no see. What's going on?
Just to give you guys a little background story, Jaleel and I have known each other since high school. Yeah, it's been a long time. And he's looked out for me since I was a young kid. We played football together. Our friendship has lasted since.
Awesome and grown into a much more complicated relationship.
Exactly.
In a good way, though.
Yes.
We invest in each other and, in our projects and, in our visions and ideas and support each other in accomplishing those. It's a good relationship.
It's a very good relationship.
No, I don't think so. No poop. I think we're good.
So we are now here at the land of medicine, spinning the spinning wheel. Spinning the prayer wheel.
Peace, love, and happiness for all sentient beings. Cultivating love and compassion in this world by spinning the prayer wheel.
That's Quill.
That's Griffin.
That's Griffin.
And Aiden.
That's Aiden.
Namaste. Yeah.
Namaste. Go ahead.
Cool story about when I was living in New York with Ray almost 4 years ago. Bailey actually had a flight to New York. Randomly, just by chance, I met Bailey like the week before I left for New York, and he just by chance had a ticket to New York the first weekend that I was there. And I told her, I was like, if you're gonna be in New York the same time as me, like I gotta come find you. Like I can't just let this happen without like finding you. It's just too serendipitous, right? And so when I told Ray I'm gonna go find Bailey, she's somewhere in Manhattan, he was like, wait, what? You're gonna do what? It's like, I'm gonna go find her. He's like, bro, this is the most energy you've ever spent on a girl. Like, this is ridiculous.
Seriously.
Like, she must be special. And sure enough, I freaking married her, and now we have a baby together, and
Isn't that just wonderful,
isn't it
guys?
such a beautiful thing, you know?
It's always nice to hear happy stories like this.
Sleepy baby.
Throughout the years, for the past 12 years of our friendship, we have started a lot of ventures together.
It's true.
And our recent venture and project is Pushstory. We started this 2 years?
About 2 years ago, just shy of 2 years.
Just shy of 2 years, a little over a year and a half, below the 2-year mark.
Yeah.
And back then, it's totally different from what it is now.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, it was just a proxy company.
Yeah,
Like, we
really.
just needed something for people to take us seriously.
Yep. Because they wouldn't just pay 2 random guys to handle their social media. Because they're like, what are you going to really do? Are you actually a company? Like, are you actually professional? Do you actually have any experience? So, yeah, Pushstory just kind of became this cover. And we used, like, the Pushstory email because it was like, it comes from a Pushstory domain name. They must have a company. And our landing page was basically just a website with a picture and a quick little caption about what we did. And we crafted the caption to basically say that we support the type of companies that we are already working with. just in case they looked for us, like, well, who's Pushstory? Where are they? What do they do? They would come across a website that said, we support companies that do these types of things in these types of verticals. So yeah, it was completely a proxy company. It was basically us trying to find a way to formalize this like side hustle that we had going on
with just a bunch of different random companies that had no like certain theme whatsoever. None.
Yeah. And it was kind of a way for us to like practice on how we approach clients, talk to clients, and even handle clients and things like that. Because, you know, especially as freelancers, starting off as freelancers, like people don't really take freelancers too seriously.
Yeah.
And they don't treat them as fairly as, you know, as they would a company.
Totally.
So that came from that frustration in the industry, I guess. And now it's formed into having an office and having a team with team members of diverse backgrounds, which is kind of crazy to see how it's grown now.
Yeah. That's awesome. So
It's incredible. And it's a lot of hard work, guys. It's you know, starting your own company is it looks sexy. It does.
Yeah.
But when you're actually doing it, you know, it's very stressful, and you don't realize you have to do a lot more than what you thought you would be doing.
Totally.
Initially, for me personally, I thought I would, now that there's a company, I would be able to be more creative. But that is not the case, because I actually have to learn a lot more about business because I know how to be a creative. I need to think about my weaknesses. And I'm not saying I'm weak with business, but I could strengthen my business skills, definitely.
Totally. And that's everything, you know. Just to backtrack a little bit, I like to think about building a business like, think about like a bodybuilder or anybody who has like a solid physique, right? When you see them on stage, or you see them walking around in the, you know, at the beach, or, you know, in the mall or wherever, they look great. Like physically, they look fit, they're really good shape, like they just look like they've taken care of themselves. But when you go to the gym with them, they're in the gym grunting, sweating, stinking, just like everybody else. And that's just like the great metaphor for building a company. Like you gotta stink, and you gotta sweat, and you gotta grunt, and you gotta look real nasty for a while. Get in the trenches, throw some weight around, and you may start off a little flabby. You may not have the type of physique you're looking for. You may not be as clean cut, and you may not be executing as well as you would like to be. But if you continue the repetitions of grinding and sweating and grunting, eventually you'll be walking around in the mall with your really cool cut up physique business, right? And that's what it's all about, you know. It's just about digging in and spending the time to really work out. And of course, just like with going to the gym, like you have to be strategic about the way you work out, and you have to have good form. And that's what Ray is talking about. You know, you have to recognize where you're most weak and what you can do to strengthen those weaknesses. And that's the only way to grow. It's to be uncomfortable. It's to put yourself in this state of fear of potential failure, and it forces you to expand and to grow and to become a better version of yourself. And that's exactly what Ray's talking about. He said, I need to work on business. I need to be better at managing a business. I have the basics, but I can be better. And he's going out there and he's talking to the people he needs to talk to. He's taking the workshops he needs to take. You know, when you're a business owner or you're an entrepreneur, you're not just like starting a business and that's it. Like, you're constantly learning. In fact, you're probably learning more than you would be if you were working for somebody else, because it's much more complicated. It's much more complex. You're just a constant student of the game. And it requires that humility to be able to say, I need to teach myself these things, or I need to find the person that can help me do these things in order to be successful.
For you, you have to think about your end game too. Like, when you're building something, you can't just build something because, I mean, you can build whatever you want, but if you don't have a direction, you don't really know where you're building towards.
Totally.
So that's something to think about too, guys. It's like, you know where you're starting and know where you're ending, and then fill in the rest in the middle.
Totally. And then to add to that is just like be flexible, you know, because sometimes what'll end up happening on the journey is, you know, you're focused on this goal, and all of a sudden another opportunity presents itself, and this opportunity is 10 times better than the one that you could even imagine. That's the beauty about creation. That's the beauty about building a business. That's the beauty about life in general. If you work towards something, you know, your opportunity will expand exponentially. Even if it's not exactly what you thought it would be, I promise you it'll be better by far than what you thought it would be. Just put in the energy, put in the time, things are gonna grow. It's gonna look great, and it'll be sexy. It'll be real sexy as long as you keep working on it.